Hi guys, so we're gonna read A Tree is Growing this week, and I would like to read it to you. That way we can look at like specific information in the book. This is actually one of my favorite books because the illustrations are so good, and the text and graphic features just give you an amazing array of information about trees. So the first thing we're gonna look at is the author is Arthur Dorris. Arthur Dorris loved trees. When he was 5, he planted a maple seedling. The tree grew taller than a 2-story house. The author believes that everyone has stories to tell. He encourages children all over the country to write. And then the illustrator is S.D. Schindler. When S.D. Schindler was just 4 years old, he won a red wagon in a coloring contest. S.D. Schindler loves nature as much as he loves art. He used plants and animals from the woods near his home as models for the illustration in A Tree is Growing. And the type of text this is today, guys, go ahead and look at the genre. Our genre today is informational text. Now, is that fiction or nonfiction? Yes, it is nonfiction. It's going to give us a bunch of facts about trees. So if it says here, informational text gives you information about a topic. As you read, look for photographs and captions, graphics such as diagrams, which is a fancy word for pictures, that help explain the topic, text structures, or the ways and ideas information is organized. Right, in our essential question today, this is what we're going to think about while we're reading the book. What are some differences among types of trees? You guys know some big differences between a pine tree and, say, like a maple tree. Yeah. You know, different kinds of leaves, different kinds of bark, different places where they live, right? Like our trees here might not live in the jungle. Okay, so I'm going to continue with the book. A giant tree may look as if it has always been big, but even the biggest tree keeps growing and changing. In the spring, you can see that a tree is growing as you watch the buds on the branches unfold into leaves. So over here, there's a little caption. I don't know if you can see that. It says, pines are the oldest known living tree on Earth. Some have been growing for 5,000 years, since before the pyramids in Egypt were built. Wow, that's a really cool looking tree. And then here, if you see, we got all these labels for the different leaves. Labels means it's got like a little name next to it. So this type of leaf is a palm. This one is a white oak. This one is a ginkgo. This one's from an empress tree. That one's from a white pine. Did you know those were leaves? This one's from a red maple. And then the one right in the middle is from a breadfruit tree. Those are pretty cool. Leaves can be skinny needles. Leaves can be skinny needles or big heart shapes. Whatever shape or size a leaf is, it makes food for the tree. A kind of sugar is made in the leaves. Trees use the sugar as food. And we know about this because we make a ton of maple syrup around here. The sugary water made in the leaves is mixed with other tree juices called sap. The food in the sap is carried throughout the tree. Where a branch breaks or where bark is cut, sap oozes out of the tree. The strong smell of some saps can keep insects from eating the trees they live on. If you rub a sassafras leaf, the sap smells spicy. Maple syrup is the boiled sap of sugar maple. Ooh, this looks like a really cool tree over here. Oh, and look, it comes up with its own label. 2 baboa trees showing the trunk in wet and dry weather. You can totally see there's difference there. Baboa trees store water in the trunk. When a baboa tree's trunk is swollen with water, it is round and fat. In dry weather, the tree gets water from the trunk, then the trunk gets thinner. That makes sense. So this is over here, a little moth caterpillar. And then we have another diagram. I like this one. A tree needs sunlight, air, soil, and water to grow. Water travels through passages in the trunk and branches up to the leaves. The water moves up the trunk as if being sucked through a straw. Sugary sap made in the leaves travels down other passages in the trunk, taking food to different parts of the tree. Kind of like the veins in your arm, right? That carries blood everywhere. All right. So I want to look at these captions first. A few kinds of trees drop roots from branches into the soil to gather water. Banyan tree roots grow into columns all around the tree. So you could make like a little fence. Growing roots are strong. A root can lift a sidewalk or split a rock as it grows. By splitting the rock, it helps make soil. You guys have seen this before, I'm sure. And we got some more labels here. We have the white oak tree behind the mushrooms. Then we have some earthworms. And then underground, we got a beetle grub. And then over here, it says bicolored Boltus mushroom. The roots of a tree grow into the ground and hold the tree in place. Roots are like pipelines. They absorb water and carry it into the tree. A tree's roots spread out far underground. They usually grow out a little farther than the tree's branches. Trees need minerals to grow. Minerals are tiny particles found in the soil. Salt is one kind of mineral. Like salt, other minerals dissolve in water. They are mixed in with the water that the roots absorb, and they are carried throughout the tree. Mushrooms growing among the roots of a tree can help it get minerals. And the mushrooms and plants growing near a tree get water brought by the tree's roots. It's nice, they help each other out. Right, so this bird is called a flicker. And then over here we have a Polyphemus moth on the tree. And I'm going to go ahead and read the captions first again. Looking at the bark of a tree can help you know what kind of tree it is. The cork used for bulletin boards is the peeled off outer bark of a cork oak tree. Honey locust bark has spines to help protect the tree. So we're finding all these differences among trees, right? Bark is the skin of a tree. The outer layer of bark protects the tree. When an oak tree is young, the bark is as smooth as a baby's skin. As the tree grows older, the bark becomes rough and cracked. Ooh, I love this. Right, so over here we got some captions. In cool climates, cambium only grows in spring and summer. Count growth rings to see how old a tree was when it died. An old fir tree can have over 1,000 rings, one for each year that it lived. In tropical rainforest trees, the cambium grows all year and there are no rings. It is hard to tell the ages of these types of trees. Of course it grows all year because it's got water all year. That's why it's called a rainforest. Right, and then over here we got some labels again. Up here at the top it says there's our growth wings. And we have a little snail. And over here we have an underwing moth, really pretty. And then the different layers of the bark is phloem, cambium, and xylem. The bark you can touch and see is not growing anymore. Underneath it is a layer of growing bark called cambium. Each year, cambium growth is a ring in the wood of a tree. As trees add new cambium, the tree becomes bigger around. Next to the cambium are two layers called the xylem and the phloem. Water from the roots moves through the xylem and sap from the leaves moves through the phloem. Right, so this is a wild turkey. Hi, wild turkey. And then each one of these trees has a label. This one's 10 years, 20, 30, and then 50. And over here is 200. Sequoias are some of the tallest trees in the world, over 300 feet tall. I want to see sequoias someday. Trees grow bigger around as they grow taller. As a tree grows, lower branches may fall off, making the trunk look longer. But the branches do not move upward on the trunk. A tree grows taller only at the top, as the tips of the top branches grow upwards. If you find a mark on a tree trunk today, that mark would stay at the same height for as long as the tree lives. And they're showing right here. Looks like they might have put like a little fork or something in the tree, and it's at the same length the whole time. Same height, not length. Ooh, look at all this cool stuff. We got a nectar-eating bat, a calabash tree, a purple finch, that's a male, catkins. Is that the type of flower or is that the type of tree? Saucer magnolia. Oh, so magnolia is the type of flower. We have a honeybee over here, wild cherry blossoms, and a purple finch, a female. All right, I'm going to read the caption. Birds, insects, and even bats are attracted to flowers to drink their sweet juices. When they brush the flowers, the animals get powder called pollen on them. The animals carry the pollen to other flowers. When the pollen mixes with certain parts of the flower, seeds grow. Wind also helps pollinate flowers. In the spring, you can smell tree flowers. Tree flowers are found in many shapes and colors and have many different smells. Part of the flowers grow to become seeds. Oak trees have dangling clumps of flowers called catkins, that must be these, that help make acorns, the seed of an oak tree. Right, over here we have a sugar maple tree and the sugar maple seeds. So this must be the sugar maple tree. And this is acorns and a gray squirrel. Different kinds of trees make seeds with different coverings. Nuts, cones, and fruit all have seeds inside. So if we look here, it has a Brazil nut, a mountain pine cone, and if you look underneath the pine cone, that's what the seeds actually look like. We have a cherry, and of course we know the seeds are in the middle. Coconuts are seeds of a palm tree. A coconut can float across the ocean and sprout on a sandy beach. That's cool. So they get to travel all over the world. An oak tree can drop more than 50,000 acorns in 1 year. Only a few of them grow into oak trees. Most are eaten, are crushed, rot, or land in a place where they cannot take root. Acorns can be carried away and dropped or buried by animals to grow in a new place. Other kinds of seeds blow in the wind or float on the water. So the sugar maple seeds blow in the wind. The coconut floats in the water. The cherry, the seeds get taken away and eaten somewhere else. Same thing with the acorns. See that with the gray squirrel. Interesting. Many different ways that seeds can be dispersed. All right, now we're looking at different kinds of leaves. Autumn is a great time to collect leaves. Each tree has its own special color. So when we're looking here, this is a tulip poplar, a ginkgo, a big-toothed aspen, sweet gum, and a pin oak. Those are kind of cool. I like the tulip poplar. All right, and then in the picture, we got some labels. Down here is a millipede, some earthworms, a spider, some beetles. It says leaves on the ground at the bottom of the tree with earthworms, bugs, and a mole hiding below them. Over here is the mole. Hmm, very interesting. In cool climates, trees stop growing in autumn. The leaves of many trees stop making sugary food for the tree, and then they lose their green color. Then you can see red, brown, yellow, and orange colors that are also in leaves. Pine trees and some other trees have needles or leaves that do not change color in autumn. When leaves fall to the ground, insects and worms eat them. The chewed and eaten bits of leaves make the soil better for growing trees and other plants. Right here, this is a white oak, horse chestnut. Over here it says white oak again. Trees rest in the cold of winter, and their branches are bare. They may look as if they are dead, but look closely and you can see small buds that will become leaves and flowers in the spring. In the spring, listen to the wind rustling the leaves. The trees are growing again. All right, guys. That's it for today. I'm going to post some questions online and I hope you enjoyed this.